How to fix FACEIT client not opening or loading loop. Welcome back to Tenabalta. When launching competitive matches, encountering a blocked or infinitely looping FACEIT client can completely halt your gaming session. Our technical team has conducted an exhaustive investigation into why the desktop application fails to authenticate or pass the initial loading screen after Steam authorization. During our diagnostics, we discovered that deep packet inspection tools, specific network filtering software, and conflicting security permissions are the primary culprits behind this initialization failure. To address this comprehensively, we analyzed every underlying system dependency, from kernel-level anti-cheat interactions to DNS caching anomalies. Our testing showed that the platform requires completely unhindered, low-latency communication channels with its dedicated verification servers to complete the handshake process. When these pathways are altered by local optimization scripts or passive security layers, the client gets stuck in a permanent loading loop without throwing an explicit error code. We have compiled a definitive, step-by-step troubleshooting workflow based on our successful bench tests to help you resolve this issue permanently. First, you must disable all deep packet inspection bypass utilities, such as Goodbye DPI or Zapret, running on your system. Tenabalta's analysis revealed that these background tools modify TLS handshakes and fragment packets, which directly triggers the FACEIT security architecture to reject the connection. Ensure you fully terminate these processes via Task Manager and stop their associated Windows services before attempting to restart the client. Next, disconnect from any active virtual private network or proxy server configured within your operating system network settings. Our investigation confirmed that the platform strictly monitors IP consistency and geolocation validation during the initial Steam synchronization phase to prevent account manipulation. Routing your data through a public or congested VPN node frequently causes a timeout loop on the authorization screen. If the issue persists, you need to flush your system DNS cache and renew your local IP configuration using the elevated Windows command prompt. Run the ipconfig/flushdns command followed by ipconfig/renew to clear out stale routing tables and corrupted domain name resolutions. This ensures your machine establishes a direct, uncorrupted route to the official authentication servers. Following the network flush, we recommend switching your network adapter's DNS addresses to a highly stable public resolver like Google DNS or Cloudflare. Manually assign 8, 8, 8, 8 and 8, 8, 4, 4 or 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1, 0, 0, 1 inside your IP4 properties window to bypass restrictive local internet service provider routing. This adjustment eliminates localized DNS filtering that might silently drop the application's underlying telemetry data. We also verified that administrative privileges are frequently mandatory for the launcher to initialize its core modules correctly. Right-click the desktop shortcut, navigate to its properties, and check the option to run this program as an administrator under the Compatibility tab. This elevated status allows the software to modify temporary files and safely hook into essential operating system structures without being blocked by Windows user account control. Additionally, temporarily disable the real-time protection module of Windows Defender or your third-party antivirus software suite to rule out a false positive detection. Our diagnostics indicated that aggressive heuristic scanning engines occasionally flag the client's memory optimization routines as suspicious behavior. If the client loads successfully while protection is paused, add the entire installation directory to your security suite's exclusion list. Another critical step involves verifying that the Windows Defender firewall is not blocking outbound or inbound traffic for the application. Open the Advanced Security panel, look through the inbound and outbound rules, and explicitly allow both the main executable and the anti-cheat service executable. This prevents the operating system from dropping essential secure WebSocket connections required for real-time profile updates. Our testing further showed that a corrupted local cache folder within your user profile can trigger infinite loading animations. Press the Windows key plus R, type %appdata%, locate the specific folder dedicated to the client, and delete its contents entirely. This forces the application to rebuild its internal configuration files, configuration state, and session tokens cleanly upon the next launch. Furthermore, you should clear the local application data directory by navigating to %localappdata% via the Windows Run dialog box. Locate the corresponding folder there and remove the cached web data and local storage files that handle interface rendering. Clearing this specific repository fixes issues where the embedded Chromium framework fails to display the login dashboard. It is equally vital to ensure that your Windows operating system is fully updated to the latest version via Windows Update. The anti-cheat module relies heavily on updated kernel patches, cryptography updates, and specific security signatures provided in recent Windows service builds. Running an outdated operating system version will lead to silent initialization failures at the driver level. Our investigation also revealed that conflicting background overlay software can interfere with the client's visual rendering processes. Completely close utilities like Discord, Riva Tuner Statistics Server, OBS Studio, and GeForce Experience before starting the application. These applications attempt to inject hooks into the active display window, which can conflict with the platform's anti-cheat protection mechanisms. If you are still experiencing the loop, perform a clean boot of Windows by typing msconfig into the search bar and disabling all non-Microsoft services. This diagnostic state isolates the system from third-party driver conflicts, startup optimization scripts, and macro utilities that could be interfering with network sockets. If the application opens normally in this mode, re-enable your services sequentially to pinpoint the exact culprit. We also recommend updating your network interface card drivers directly from the official manufacturer's website, whether you utilize Intel, Realtek, or Killer networking chips. Outdated network drivers can cause intermittent packet loss or struggle with advanced encryption protocols used during the authentication phase. Installing the latest WHQL-certified driver ensures stable and efficient data throughput. Additionally, you must verify the operational status of the dedicated anti-cheat client service within the Windows Services Manager. Press the Windows key plus R, Execute Services. MSC, locate the proprietary anti-cheat service and ensure its startup type is configured to automatic. If the service is currently stopped or disabled, manually trigger its execution before opening the main interface. Another highly effective solution tested by our team is completely logging out of your active Steam desktop application and logging back in. This refreshes your local Steam ticket and API authentication data, which the platform queries directly when verifying ownership of your competitive profile. Ensuring your profile is set to public during this phase can also prevent API communication timeouts. Furthermore, check your system clock and ensure that your time, date, and time zone are synchronized perfectly with the Internet time servers. Go to your system settings, toggle the automatic time synchronization switch off and back on to force a resync with time. Windows, COM, Secure Sockets Layer Certificates will instantly reject connections if your local system clock deviates even slightly from the authentication server's timestamp. If these steps do not yield results, execute a full system file check to repair any underlying corruption within your Windows installation. Open an administrative command prompt, type sfc/scano, and let the utility scan and replace damaged system files. Follow this immediately with the Deployment Image Servicing and Management tool by running dism/online/cleanupimage/restore health to ensure stability. Finally, if the software remains unresponsive, perform a complete, clean uninstallation of both the application and the anti-cheat driver using a dedicated uninstaller tool. Reboot your computer completely. Download the absolute latest installation binaries from the official web portal and execute the installer using administrative privileges. This ensures no orphaned, corrupted files, or registry entries from previous versions remain to disrupt the clean installation initialization sequence. Don't forget to follow Tenabalta for more.